Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. Sorry for the little delay because we had some technical issues. Usually, on Saturday we do journey through Quran, but unfortunately I was not very well, so I couldn't do it yesterday. And also in the journey through Quran, as you all know that we have finished up to Surah An-Nisa. And as I mentioned in our Viber group that we'll have a quiz next week in Surah An-Nisa. The material has already been published. So from now on we have only 6 or 7 weeks left for Ramadan. So if I start Surah Al-Ma'idah, it's going to be a big surah to finish. So we'll be halfway through Surah Al-Ma'idah and then we'll be hitting Ramadan. And obviously in Ramadan probably we won't do this one because of the, people will come and have their Quran reading and everything. So we're not going to hold this program in the 4 weeks of Ramadan. So I thought instead of going to a big surah, why not talk about some little surah in a one day, the surah that we commonly recite. And that's why in the prayer today I recited, Ara'ayta allazi yukazzibu bid-din, Surah Al-Ma'un. So I thought, it's a small surah and I hope that, most of us know this surah. And even, I can assure you that, almost 90% students of our Arabic school definitely know this surah by heart. And this surah is as much important as the other surah, the big surahs, to understand the meaning and everything. You can open up a translation and, go through the meaning of this surah, but there is a lot more to say in these surahs, because these surahs are Makki surahs. So today, I'm going to, ask you to have a bit patience. We're going to describe Surah Al-Ma'un today, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll talk about how this surah, affect, our social and political environment. You will understand, it sounds like a very small surah, and only few words in the whole surah, only 7 ayah, but you will understand, how the Mufassirun and the scholar have understood the surah and why this surah is revealed in this way and what are the meanings of the words of the surah. So inshallah ta'ala, without delay, let's start. And I keep the light open, so I want your full attention, because if I turn the light off, I will know some of the eyes of the light will go off and they will fall asleep. So please keep attention, because it's important. These are small surah. Even if you learn something from this today and go home and talk to your child or talk to your wife or your relatives, your friends, that's much more beneficial. There's no point doing all this halakha and all this program if we can't learn something from it and if we cannot pass it. And this surah, I know most of you recite probably every day in some of your sunnah prayer or first prayer at home. And we know the meanings also. But there is so much to say in the behind the meaning, the wisdom behind it. We all should at least have some basic idea that why this surah is like this and why the surah it is so important to learn about these small surahs at the back of the Quran. So first, let's go through the rough translation. And as you know, when English translation has been done, it is just English language. It is not Arabic. So obviously the translation is not the exact meaning of the Quran. That is just a translation. And today we will see that how it is different. So as you all know, the surah, so the first is Ara'ayta allazi yukazzibu bid-din. Have you seen the one who denies the recompense or who denies the deen, basically, okay? And then for that, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدْعُو الْيَتِيمِ. So he pushes the orphan. He pushes the orphan and does not encourage feeding the poor, And then Allah says, فَوَيْلُ لِلْمُسَلِّينَ. So woe to those people who are musalli. Who are they? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. They do prayer, they have no no care about the prayer. They're heedless about the prayer, and also they do it for show off. It is to show off their deeds. And then Allah says, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ. And they, discourage ma'un. What is ma'un means? So first let's talk about the surah, the name of the surah. This ma'un means that a small favor. So suppose you are sitting here in a classroom. If someone asks, brother, can I use your pen? So you give the pen to him. This is ma'un. This much of simple thing. Your neighbor comes to your home maybe and say, brother, can I have a little bit of salt? Or maybe do you have an extra, green chili or something like this? Nothing at all. It's such a small thing that is called ma'un. This kind of favor is called ma'un. Now, this surah has another name. The Sahaba, there are few surah of the Quran, the Sahaba give an alternate name. They know that surah like this name. This surah has another name, it's called Surah Ad-Din. Why it's called Surah Ad-Din? Because Allah says in the first, Ara'ayta allazi yukazzibu bid-din. And also, they understood, the Sahaba understood, by knowing this surah, if you understand the surah properly, and to them, it is as if If you know the surah, you know a lot of the factors of the deen. The fundamentals of the deen are in this surah. That's why they give the surah name Suratul Deen. A lot of surah Quran has other name. Like for example, one of the other name of Suratul Fatiha is, what is the other name of Fatiha? Ummul Quran, the mother of the Quran. And there's other name also, Surah Al-Hamd, because it starts with Hamd. And also, another thing I want to mention in this point, the Ma'un, the word Ma'un, as I said, is a small favor, the name of the common name of the surah. This word is used in the Quran only once, in this surah. See, there's a lot of word in the Quran with repetition, right? You know that, Allah is so much repetitive, Azizul Ghafur, Fi, Ala, Qaul, Kala, all these words has been repeated. But this special word Allah choose only in this surah. You'll never find in the whole Quran. There's another word like this in another surah, another small surah. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allah hus samad. The word samad is never ever used in any other surah. That's why one of the name of Surah Al-Ikhlas is called Surah Samad, because this is the only word used in the Surah Al-Ikhlas. So this surah has another name, Surah Al-Din. And what does Din mean? We'll come to it later on. Next topic, the time and the place of revelation. Now, as you all know the meaning and the surah, most of the surah at the back of the Quran, especially in Juz Amma, the Juz Amma is the last Juz, has 37 surah. And most of the opinion, the majority opinion, that all of them except for one is been revealed in Makkah. So all of them are Makki surah. In the time when Islam started the dawah in the age of 40, from the age of 40 till he made the hijrah, probably 51 or 52, so something like this, or 53. So this first 12, 13 years, all the surah has been come, except for one surah, Iza Jaa Nasrullahi wal Fath, because a lot of Mufassirun says, actually some Mufassirun say that is also Makki surah. One day inshallah we'll talk about that surah, that is small surah. But this surah is obviously Makki surah. Now, if you think of this one, there is a confusion about the time and the placement. What is that? The surah says, Fawailul lil musallin. When you heard the word musalli, what does it mean? Tell me, what does it mean? Musalli means one who pray, the believers, right? And then Allah saying, this musalli or the musalli, they have no care about the prayer and they do it for show off. Who pray for show off? What is the other name of that group? Munafiq. But in Makkah, was there a munafiq in Makkah? No. And not only that, even in Makkah, because this surah is early surah, the salah is not been prescribed. When is 5 times salah was prescribed? When Rasulullah went to Isra'ul Miraj. When Khadija radiallahu died, Abu Talib died, Rasulullah was very sad. Allah gave him a gift, took him to the Isra'ul Miraj, from Masjidul Haram to Masjidul Aqsa, and from there to up. All this happened. Almost he was 51 years old at that time. And that time he got 5 times salah. And even he come back with the salah, the people in Makkah, Muslim, they were under pressure with the Quraysh. They can't go like masjid, like go to Kaaba and pray like this. Yes, there are sometimes when Umar became Muslim, when Hamza became Muslim, they were able to go near the Makkah to pray, but not all the time, because they know they've been boycotted for 3 years. They're not even in the area of Makkah. They used to live almost outside of the Makkah. So this ayah, فَوَيْلُلْ لِلْمُسَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, it cannot talk about munafiq. But some scholars say, okay, maybe the first 3 ayah, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي, this ayah come in Makkah time. And the next 4 ayah come in the Madinah time. That is also possible, because we know that one surah doesn't come in one time. A lot of surah comes in long time. Like Surah Baqarah came probably in 2 years time. In piecemeal. Some ayah from here, some ayah from Jibril bring every time. At the same time, Allah sent with 3, 4, 5 surah. And then Aslam decided this is going to go to this surah, this is going to be this surah. But for this surah, because it's such a small surah, and majority of the opinion says that according to the narration, the hadith narration, all these things, no, this is come in one go. Because it's small surah, it's not like 3 and 4. So this is a Makki surah. So why Allah talking about Musallin and people who show off and everything? We'll talk about it today, because this is basically talking about the whole group of Quraysh. And that's what I'm going to show you today when you go through the meaning of the surah. This section of the surah, there's 2 sections. We'll divide it into 2 sections. The first 3 ayah and the next 4 ayah. So 3 and 4. And why we did the division, we'll see later on, inshallah ta'ala, because there is some combination, some literal miracle in this 2 sections, and we'll see these factors later on, inshallah ta'ala. So let's go through the The meaning, as I know, this is very small ayah and only 3-4 words in one ayah. So I'll go through quickly about the meanings. If I go through the meaning, you will understand these words, some of the word you use it in the other surah also. So then you will understand how these words are meanings. Another thing I need to mention, I mentioned this before, and you should understand it again. When a surah used to come, nowadays, if I say, brother, I need to tafsir of this surah, you're going to find the book of Ibn Kasir or maybe Google, At-Tabari or something. But the Sahaba and the Quraysh, they were not have this facility. When the surah come, they didn't have the tafsir book because the tafsir book came much later. It's very easy to understand. Also, if you open a book of Aqidah, if you open a book of fiqh, you will see whoever is the writer, you will see they point out different ayah. So they know this ayah of this surah is related to this one. So, okay, there's a book about Allah's name, the name Rahman. So you will see a lot of ayah from different places. Allah said, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This is from Surah Fatiha. Ar-Rahman Allam al-Quran. This is from Surah Ar-Rahman. So scholars can gather the ayah and put it together. But Sahaba cannot do this because they didn't know which surah is before and which surah is coming later on. This is just early Makkah. That time they didn't have this facility. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the word of the surah in such a way, one time you hear this, and this is mainly for the Quraysh, not for Abu Bakr Usman, because they are already Muslim, they accepted Islam. This is to give dawah to the other people. So they used to got the point in such a way that these words are meaning whatever they used to meaning to them. So the first word, the ara'aita, it means, did you see? Now in Quran, did you see Allah? Who is you here? Allah is asking, talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did you see? Sometimes you will find in the Quran, alam tara. Alam tara kaifa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil, alam tara kaifa fa'ala, irama jatil imad in Surah Al-Fajr. All the time is alam tara and ara'aita. One alam tara means, didn't you see? And ara'aita means, did you see? What is the difference? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, didn't you see, meaning Allah talking about something about the past and Allah giving hope to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah saying, didn't you see I have destroyed that nation Ad and Samud. Didn't you see the people of the field, the group who came with the elephant, I finished them also. So Allah said this is already been in the past. And when Allah said ara'aita means did you see, meaning there is something going on now and it is in the present time. And Allah is saying in a sarcastic way, that did you see what he have done? Sometimes when you talk and say, brother, did you see this brother, what he's talking about? Did you see what he done? So it's like you are angry with them or you are not happy with their thing. So that's why Allah is saying, Ara'aita allazi yukazzibu biddin. What is allazi means here? Allazi means here that the one who. So this is a singular thing. Allah is talking about one person. If it is allazina, or if Allah would have said Ara'aita man, then it would be more than one people. So here Allah is saying, did you see the one who did kazzib of the deen? That's what Allah is saying. Who is this one? We'll talk about in a minute. Then the word yukazzibu means make something lie. Allah didn't say Ara'aita allazi yukaffiru bid-din. Didn't you see who made the kufr of the deen? Allah didn't say that. Allah said one who make takzib. Takzib, the word means, in simple language, if you know something, you don't accept it, you don't receive it on your heart, that is kufr. But if you know that you reject this and then you go outside and do a big campaign about this, you go against it, like the people media doing now. So they don't believe in Islam, plus they take the Islam, the content of the Islam, the content of the Quran, the content of the Sunnah, and they go out camp and look, this is what Islam is saying. They're saying about the killing these people, killing the women, this and that, all these things. So you are making lie about that thing. So it's not only disbelief, it's worse than even kufr. Because you're not only doing kufr, you're making a lie of the deen. The last word in this ayah is bid-deen, deen. When you talk about deen, what does deen means? If I say, brother is working for the deen, the path of the deen, meaning Islam. But to the Quraysh, it didn't mean that way. Like the word salah, zakah, if you heard this word, if I say, but brother, did you pray your salah? Or do you know the word salah? You say, salah means the prayer, the Allahu Akbar, this one. But before salah, these words were existent in Arab land. And if you talk to Rasulullah sallallahu before he was 40, and if you go, Ya Rasulullah, what is the salah means? He also probably tell you the same description that we are doing now, because he didn't know that is what's called salah. That is the Islamic meaning of salah. So that same way, When Islam came, lot of word has taken a different meaning. Just like this one. So deen, before Islam, it means dealings, the fair dealings. So when you go to someone, you talk to someone, and you share something, your attitude towards other basically is deen. Your attitude towards other, how you behave with your surrounding, that is called deen. So what Allah is saying here basically, رَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, did you see the one who is unfair, who is making lies, who is denying the fair dealings with the people? Now this makes sense with the Quraysh, because that's what the Quraysh used to do. They used to, unfair things in the Makkah area. They used to, unfair to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they used to worship a lot of gods. Also they were being tortured to the Muslim people and everyone. The next ayah, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدْعُ الْيَتِيمِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي, whenever you say the word fa, it means so. So, when you talk something like, brother, we have the development working in the outside, so we don't ask the children here. So you have a sentence first, you add the sentence, based on that logic, you come here. So Allah is saying, because they make lie to the deen, so فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدْعُ الْيَتِيمِ, that's why they push the orphan. And very quickly, the yadu, the pushing here, the word yadu means pushing. It could be two type of pushing. It could be like this, like you are sitting, a yatim is come and ask help from you, and he said, go away. That's one kind of pushing. Another type of pushing, it could be, the yatim is sitting there, no problem, but you are just going and you are just telling them, push, or you are just being rude to them for no reason. He didn't ask you anything. So two type of things, and Allah mentioned both of them here. And obviously yatim, the word yatim is very, very important in the Quran. Allah has mentioned so many times the yatim, and Allah said even in Surah An-Nisa that they are the best, they are the first one to receive the rahmah from us. And that's why Allah mentioned so many times the importance of the yatim. And as I mentioned in the first ayah, Allah is saying, Ara'ayta allazi, did you see the one who denies the deen, the fair dealings? A lot of mufassirun say, who is this person? Because Allah is talking in singular person. And some mufassirun say Allah didn't mention any name. Allah didn't say Abu Jahl or or Utbah or Abu Lahab. But one or two scholars say because just after this surah, 2-3 surah after this, that Abu Lahab name was mentioned, so he could be the same person. He could be this person. Also, Abu Lahab, if you don't know, he was not only an uncle of Rasulullah, he was not only a handsome guy, he was also the treasurer of Makkah. So he is the one who is to collect money for donation and everything, and he was in charge of that. And he is to the one who is to deny the poor and orphan. He never is to give this money, that money is supposed to give through. So some of the scholars say it could be the Abu Lahab that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pointing. The third ayah, وَلَا يُحُدَّ عَلَى طُعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, same thing here, that they discourage the feeding of the poor. But the word feeding, the tu'am, is not the meaning of feeding. Tu'am means food, just food. Tu'am means to feed someone. And Allah mentioned that word in other surah. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the one who desires the food. So if you just say food, if I say this is my food, this is Brother Snowshad's food. So what does it mean? Who owns the food? The person you are taking the name, they own the food. So Allah is saying, give the food to the miskin. So as if the food belongs to miskin. So even Allah mentioned it, whenever Allah mentioned charity in the Quran, Allah talked that they have right on your wealth. You are not giving it from your pocket. It's not you giving your sandwich to the miskin. They have a right on your food already. Just give them their food. So Allah is saying here, these people even don't give the food that they deserve. That's what Allah mentioned here. وَأَيْهِدُّ عَلَىٰ طُعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And what is the difference between miskin and fakir? And we mentioned this before. Fakir is a person who is totally bankrupted, has no way out of it. Like he has nothing at all. Miskin is the people, maybe he has little money, but he is stuck in such a situation, whatever he earns, it goes away. He has no other place to go. So he's in a difficult situation basically. For example, suppose in our example, you can say like a student who has like a student visa expiring, he don't have much money to do the tuition fee, he don't have the work rights properly, so he's just stuck in a situation. This kind of people is miskin. Some people has big loan, he's paying the loan every month, maybe, but after paying the loan, he has nothing extra. It's very hard life for him. So this kind of people is miskin. Then, so this is the first section of the ayah. Then Allah talked about fawailul lil musallin. Though Allah is saying, the one who is the musallin is wild to them. And while is mean is like, in Arab people, they know, when you say, oh my God, something we say, oh my God, or, oh my goodness, they say, yeah, whiley, meaning, destruction on this one, okay? While in another hadith we know, while is the lowest part of the hellfire, that hellfire is scared of. So while is a place in a hellfire, the hellfire himself is scared of that place. It's such a bad place. So Allah is saying, for those musallin, those who pray, this is the while for them. And who is this musallin? As we mentioned in the next ayah, allazina hum an salatihim sahun. And this ayah is the main word of this ayah is the sahun. What is sahun means? Sahun means is not only heedless. It means here that they are not care about their prayer. So Allah here talking about the prayer of the Quraysh. The Quraysh also used to come to the Makkah and they used to pray to their God, their own God. So Allah is not criticizing that because it's the shirk. No, not that reason. Allah is saying they use this prayer to show off to the people. And if you look at our time, people who use Islam, people who use the religion for their political benefit, for their social benefit, or any kind of benefit, these are the worst type of people. And that's what here it means in this surah means. Sahun means that they are careless about the prayer. Yes, it could be Muslim nowadays, it could be other people, but basically these are the people who use religion to destroy, to use the political situation and everything. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the ayah 6, allazina allazihum yuraun. So they are show off. And the last ayah, wa imraun wa yamnaun al maun. Yamnaun means here basically that they discourage even the little bit of favor. And as we know what is maun means, as we mentioned before, that this was maun means. Now the last part of this slides, I will show you something that I said. And there's two structure of this two section of the surah. Section 1 has this 3 ayah. Have you seen the one who denies the deen? For that, the one who derives away the orphan and does not encourage the feeding of the poor. All these 3 ayah in this side, they are in singular form. Okay? And all this ayah on the other side in plural form. Musallin is a plural number. Allazina hum an salatihim sahun. Salatihim sahun, that's a plural sentence. Those who make show off, that is another plural. Those who withhold assistance, all plural. Why it is important to know? What is the point? One singular, one plural. It means, the Mufassir has said, if there is a person, a leader, who has this quality, a single person of the head of the society or of a community or of a small group, who has this quality, who denies the deen, who pushes the orphan, who don't encourage the feeding of the poor, then the whole society will be suffering from that too. So then the whole society will be slowly but surely they will go and they won't be headless towards their prayer. They will not care about their prayer and they will be showing off for the prayer. Another important thing in both section, if you see this one, the one who denies the deen, and if you think deen as the religion, as the fair dealings, this is a crime against Allah. If you are headless about your deen, this is a crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next two things, pushing the orphan and not giving the food to the miskin, it's something, a crime against people. So one crime against Allah in that first ayah, and two crime against the people. So you're doing one sin for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and two sin because you're heading orphan and the miskin. In the other way, there's two things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The praying for, heedless about the praying. Pray, who do you pray for? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also showing off, we should not showing off. We should do everything for sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we told the ma'un, giving the small assistance, is for the people. So one crime against two crimes. So this crime here, the first ayah defines those two. What I'm trying to say, the people who denies the deen, the people who make lie about the deen, they will pray to show off. They will be careless about their prayer. And people who pushes the orphan, people who doesn't encourage the feeding of the poor, these people will be the ma'un people. These people are the cheapest people. They won't try to give a smallest favor to the other people, and these are the people. So basically, the ayah number 1 has the tafsir of 4 and 5 and 6, and ayah number 2 and 3 is the explanation of the 7. And the last thing, the main thing, if you divide it in another way, the 3 ayah, 1, 2, 3 here, and 5, 6, 7. So 1 and 1, the middle ayah is woe to those who pray. So all this quality is for the praying. Basically, what Allah is saying, if a person He doesn't care about his deen. He makes the lie of the deen. He pushes the orphan. He doesn't care about the orphan. And he is being discouraging for the feeding the poor. This kind of people will be the cheap people. And this kind of people will be the headless about the prayer. And this kind of people will be showing off their deeds. And for all these qualities, all these 6 qualities, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, they will be heading towards the wild, the Jahannam. And this is what the meaning of the surah in short time. Jazakallahu khairan. Inshallah ta'ala, next week on Saturday, we'll come with another small surah that we recite in our everyday prayer, and we'll explain in this way. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.